I'm going to cut a promo.
Cut a promo.
And you want to throw it in the beginning, though?
I'll put it 2 or 3 places, maybe.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's been a little bit of a while, but we have our launch. We're coming out with a brand new physical education launch by Good Company, 3rd Street Barbell. Bunch of cool stuff, couple tops, couple bottoms, some slides, some socks, and it is live this Sunday for you listeners only. So you guys get priority access. 3sb.co. Check it out. Snag something while it's there because it might not be there very, very long. And appreciate you guys listening, and hopefully that there's something you can dig on, something you like. And follow 3rd Street Barbell on Instagram if you want to see some of the previews and things to come. Appreciate you guys very much. I don't think we actually did an official episode on it, but is it the social, or did we do the social dilemma? What did we do?
No, we didn't do the social dilemma. We did.
But have you seen it?
Fake Famous. I saw part of it. It made me sick, so I didn't like it at all.
Like, just didn't enjoy it. It didn't make you sick because of the context or content.
No, I just thought I hated the way it was produced.
Oh, that's fine. I think it's a social dilemma I'm talking about. They talk about like algorithms.
Yeah.
And what surprised me when it came out 6 months ago or whatever the heck, 8 months ago, is how many people in our industry on Twitter and Instagram, and then even now, like Rogan and these folks talk about it like they're so surprised. And also they talk about it. I think the movie does a decent job because they talk some of the Facebook like ex-programmers or ex-engineers that have left.
Yeah.
And those guys explain it pretty decent. But the people, I don't know. Sometimes I feel I'm a fucking genius, and sometimes I feel like I'm an idiot and everyone else is smart. You know? Like I sit back like, wow, I must be an idiot because everyone sees this. But then I hear shit, I'm like, no, like you're fucking, all of you are fucking wrong.
It's 50-50, right?
Yeah.
I think as long as you ride on 50-50, you're probably okay.
But it's just like everyone thinks the same thing, and I'm sitting here like, no, you fucking morons. Because even the ex-engineers and stuff talk about the algorithm and like why it's made. Like it's clear to me why it's made. I like a bunch of dog pictures. They show me more dogs to keep me on the app longer.
And then they go out to the data of other people that they're collecting and say, what other things do people who like dogs look at?
Right. Now maybe
and then they start throwing you 1 or 2 of those.
Right. Maybe they'll show me a shotgun because me and my retriever like to go hunting or whatever the fuck. And if I grab it, yeah, they'll add more into that. And then also other people, you like Rottweiler. Me and you are totally different folks. Right? You and I have quite a bit in common, but let's say we have nothing in common. But we both like Rottweilers. And we're both liking Rottweilers. Maybe they'll start to show me shit that you like other than Rottweilers to see because I like Rottweilers. Yeah. But how the people in our industry, one, they act so surprised by all this. And then even like other podcasters and stuff I've heard about, they're like, God, they're they're terrible emperors running this thing with devil horns. I'm like, no, like they want you on their fucking app. Do you want them to show you a bunch of shit you don't like?
Yeah.
Like, how does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Like, can the algorithm be corrupt? Possibly. Can the intent of the algorithm lead to something negative? Yeah, that's the case. Because that's how you get into like the echo chambers, and that's how you get into only seeing your beliefs and only seeing shit you like and whatever. Sure, is the outcome and the intent are just not the same.
Yeah.
And that's why that movie didn't like blow my mind at all. But people we know well and that have done this for a long time are sitting there like, oh, can you like, yeah, I can fucking believe it. Yeah. My own Instagram, our own content, we do the same fucking thing. I post something. I see what comments and likes are. It feels good if someone comments and likes something positive. Like, yeah, that's definitely like an ego boost. But if they like more of it and they comment on more of it, I'm going to post more of content similar to that content. Wow. What a fucking concept. To get the people that follow my content to like my stuff continuously.
Right. That makes sense.
Like, that's literally what a content creator's job is.
Right.
If we start talking about chess on this show and our downloads go way down, we're going to stop talking about fucking chess.
Yeah. Kind of. Hold those both those thoughts for a second. Okay, back up for a second. We missed last week due to a number of different situations. And so we're doing a catch-up episode right now, and we're talking about we did a Q&A a while back where we asked for words and phrases that people use all the time.
And someone didn't know what algorithm meant?
And they didn't know what it meant in the terms. I think that they didn't know. They just get. I don't know. Actually, I'm just projecting here. I have no idea what their thinking was. But they just said algorithm as a word that people use, and they don't know if they personally know what it means.
Right.
And
I mean, the real definition is what? Like a process of fucking...
It literally. Oh my God! You said the word process, and that is exactly what the definition starts out with.
Look, see, that's why I was saying that I'm fucking smarter than everybody out there.
A process or set of rules to be followed in calculations or other problem-solving operations.
Suck my balls, Webster.
By a computer, and the difference between an algorithm and just an equation is that an algorithm branches out,
or a program per se, maybe. Because I think an algorithm can be multiple things. Like it could be like more like mechanical, or it could be like a program that carries it out on its own, kind of. And that's where people are talking about like AI and shit. AI is an algorithm that can teach itself.
Yeah.
But where
it learns,
or you can get really complex algorithms that is not AI.
Yeah,
like Instagram's algorithm is probably pretty complex on the back end.
Yeah,
but then like you said, like even an equation though, I think a certain equation is an algorithm. That's where I first learned about algorithm, like 7th grade math.
Yeah, the back in the day, I got my first computer many years ago, in the decade that started with an 8.
Decade that started 80s.
Yeah, in the 80s. Yeah, because I took a forecasting class, a business forecasting class, and there's a whole like art and science around business forecasting, but it is all really kind of algorithmically based. Yeah. You're looking for factors that will drive another factor.
Sure.
So you're like.
And trends.
Yeah. So we were looking at the economic indicators.
Yeah.
And so you had like all the economic indicators, all the ones that lead, the ones that follow, whatever, and try to figure out among those things what the weighting might be to create an equation or algorithm that would predict
next quarter's profits.
Like 3 quarters in the future is really what it comes down to. And I had to do that. That's a long process, and I was going to have to go sit in a computer lab, to do this on some crazy old like 1st generation computer, and it had a new kid at the time, a new baby at the time. So like this is not going to work. So I have to be able to do this at home. So I got my graduation present from college early. Like,
do you remember what it cost?
I want to say about $800, something like that.
That's pretty expensive.
It was,
because you get an okay computer now for $800.
Yeah, it was an Epson Equity 1. It only came with 1 floppy drive. There was no hard drive. I had to buy a printer because I had to print the stuff out to turn it in.
Yeah.
It was floppy. It was like the big floppies.
Yeah. You know there's like beams and shit, like when are we gonna update shit? Like the save symbol on every computer still is like a floppy.
Oh yeah.
You're like, what?
Yes, it's still a disc.
Like if you're in high school, you've never seen a floppy in your life.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like we had them.
Yeah,
but it's so funny.
I remember when the little hard case ones came out.
Yeah,
and started replacing the other ones.
Yeah. It was more like 90s.
But I remember spending hours and hours and hours trying to come up with something that would work that I could turn in for this project. And then if it didn't work, like you could get your grade by explaining why you thought it didn't work, or whatever. But normally you're looking to get into a certain target range.
Yeah.
And
that's very similir with
it's very similar to everything
algorithm.
else.
It's kind of like a predictor.
Yeah. Years later, I got involved in a sales mapping project, and we were trying to figure out like which zip codes to concentrate marketing dollars into to get the best results.
Yeah.
And it was the same kind of thing. It's like a little bit of demographic, a little bit of previous sales, a little bit of whatever into an algorithm, throw it in a map, and to kind of predict where you should be going. And the kind of algorithm we're talking about in social media is Spotify,
Yeah, same idea.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Those are like suggestion algorithms.
Right.
Largely, except that Spotify takes it to the next level. They just feed it to you.
Yeah, Netflix, I feel like, is kind of next level too, because I've heard like everyone's account, like there's a billion movies that no one's ever heard of that are on Netflix, but they're not as tight to the algorithm, so like people just don't find them. Like there's codes you can type in. Have you seen that?
Yeah,
where you can like find.
Always been that way.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Because now, I mean, they just have an insane amount of content on there now.
Yeah, I don't think that they can put it all into the front end, but it's kind of too bad because I often go through there and not able to really find.
No, it's hard because it's the same shit. What they have done better, even over the last year, maybe even year and a half, is just update shit. Yeah. I remember it'd be 3 months of the exact same thing on your homepage.
Yeah.
Exact same thing in comedies, exact same thing in trending. But now, like, the trending seems, although I'm sure there's some politics and business behind what trends or not, like every other iTunes rankings, everything's an algorithm. I'm sure there's some business on the back end of that, but at least it changes. At least it's trying to fake me out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most people don't have access to the full podcast charts anymore outside of using another website that has access to Apple's, what they call it, API. It's little pieces of the program that feeds you data. And that stuff changes like hourly almost.
That's what they say about YouTube and Instagram and stuff. And again, like, depending on what this guy's question really was, like, what does the word mean, or how does it apply to growing your social media? Either way, like, growing your social media is hard because there is no rules. Some of it's luck, some of it's good content, some of it's algorithm that changes all the time.
Yeah. No, something you said, well, let me back up. Content creators, social media people, whatever, bitch about algorithms because they feel like the algorithms work against them. And I think that in a way is true at times.
No, it for sure does in fitness. You can look at the Google trends on YouTube fitness, specifically powerlifting. In like 2017, any channel from anywhere just takes an absolute dump. Something was switched in like that root of this algorithm that literally killed YouTube fitness.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, everyone was growing. Every channel, not every, but all a bunch of good content creators were growing, and then it just shits on everybody in 2017.
Yeah,
it's wild.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what happened, but clearly they made some kind of a change.
The story, the easiest example is animation. Animation used to be huge on YouTube in the early 2010s and 2010s, and there's a bunch of cool independent guys doing 5 to 60-second. Dope animations. Like, there's some like random insane artists doing these things. But what does YouTube want? They want you on your platform longer. They want longer videos. So by no fault of theirs, they started to promote more videos that were 5-minute and 10-minute long, thereby literally killing animation on a small scale on YouTube, and they just disappeared. Because they stopped getting views, stopped making money, and how can they just independently draw and do cool things all day when they can't even make any fucking money? So they just disappeared. And something similar probably happened to fitness. Who knows what it was? Maybe nipples started popping out and every dude's thumbnail shirtless and whatever the fuck.
I don't know. That's a really good question.
Yeah, it's sad.
And it's hard to figure out how to game the algorithms. It's hard to tell. I mean, you can look at what's trending and try to jump onto it, but it may or may not work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably your best option.
Yeah, and something you said earlier though about if you're not getting any feedback, or engagement or whatever on a particular thing, are you going to keep doing it, or are you going to switch off to something else? And like, to a certain extent, you switch off to something else, but also sometimes you can be ahead of stuff and have it catch up to you.
And you have to do it long enough to get a real sample. It is kind of like mini science. You have to do it long enough and good enough to have a sample size to control a variable. We can't just do one podcast on chess, get bad downloads, and say, oh, chess is fucked.
Yeah.
We'd have to do like 10, and we'd have to make good content with the chess, et cetera, et cetera.
And a flip side of that is the algorithm kind of works in two ways. One of them is exposing your content to people who already subscribe to you.
Right.
So that's a prioritization of all the things that they are subscribed to. And then the other one is showing your stuff to people who are not subscribed to you, who might be interested in whatever. And that I'm particularly thinking about YouTube in that regard, or IGTV or Reels or whatever, or Snapchat or any of these quick hit formats.
That's what it frustrates me about it all, and obviously it's all business, and I understand, and who am I to bitch, because I'm lucky to even have a platform to begin with, but is that they won't even show the people that choose to click the button to follow you. Like, even on YouTube, like, they show like 20 to 50% of your subscribers your video until it starts to get good traction with that group, and then they'll show 100% of your subscribers. Instagram is very similar. They'll sample size like 3 to 10% to throw it on their feed. Everyone who follows me doesn't see my Instagram post.
Which is crazy. Which is
why they want you to pay money.
Or at least get people to hit the notifications, or
yeah, I guess notifications would work, but but the chances are low, and they don't want that. What does Instagram care? Instagram wants you to pay them to show your content everywhere, like marketing. So again, I understand capitalism. I understand what their reasoning is behind it, but it really does ruin some of the old school creators that have been on the platform forever. Because people are like, oh man, because my like ratio, whatever. This is what everyone talks about, ratios, is bad. But I've been on the platform for 11 years.
Oh, yeah.
I've been on Instagram 11 years. Like, it's not like I bought my shit. I've just done it for 11 years.
Yeah.
And I'm old in the algorithm. They're not going to show as many shit. Rather than new people you follow, if you just follow someone new, their shit's going to pop on your page for like 3 weeks straight. And if you interact with it, it's going to pop on there forever. It's going to show more people. So, like, the hot trending stays more hot trending. You know? And that's kind of the same with YouTube as well. There's a lot of rumors, and none of these companies actually give you the real algorithm, or people don't know it, right? They just find little hints in there. But people said like new YouTube channels were starting to hit, so a bunch of people started making new YouTube channels.
And I can tell you that any live episode does better than any canned one that we do.
And they're starting to push lives, which makes sense, right? Because they're trying to compete with a Twitch and
if you're watching live, everything else. What's up?
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it all makes sense. I can always get down to the root of why the business is doing it, but it's just frustrating as the wild, wild west of YouTube and Instagram was so cool. It was so organic and so authentic.
It was probably just not as easy to monetize for YouTube.
No,
and
they
Instagram.
didn't. Yeah, they literally didn't, right?
Yeah.
Like the adpocalypse was a big deal. Bigger companies starting to realize that YouTube had something real going on, how many fucking viewers they had on the daily, how many videos are uploaded on the daily, and then same with Instagram. How many freaking people are on that app all day, every day?
And they can play around with it in the background, and they do.
Yeah,
like,
all the time.
Probably the best example is what happened with video on Facebook. Facebook made their definition of a video view, so generous that it made video look like it was doing much better than it was. And much, much better than print versions. So all of these, like, semi-blog based website platforms started shifting to video and fired a bunch of writers, and didn't get what I mean. When you look at the actual results that you get, that you're looking for, not just what your download numbers are, but like all that stuff is advertising for something, right?
Right.
And if you're not selling, or you're not getting the impressions that you're expecting to get, and you've all fired all these people, like what?
That leads to like the bigger, which we probably shouldn't or won't dive into, of just even the news. The news became a content machine rather than journalism.
Yeah.
And so same ideas. Like, they're all based on how many clicks they can get on their website, or how many views, or how many subscribers they can get to their web page. And how do you get that with more clickbaity, more crazy things, or more diversive content itself, which will either attract one group or attract bad press from the other group. But either way, they're going to be reading your shit because they disagree so hard or want to rip you. And so just telling the news, or the news as the news, isn't sexy. It's not going to get the clicks. And now you're out of business, because it is a business at the end of the day.
Right. And then I think that's probably the reason that memes are so popular.
Yeah.
Because they're they're quick hits,
Yeah.
and a lot of people are just reposting memes. They're not even coming up with them on their own.
There's people with millions of followers that literally don't create their own meme.
They
That's
just
wild.
aggregate memes.
Yeah. And they probably make a lot of money off it too because they find ways to get sponsors or sell their product. Or it's wild.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but certainly it takes time to be on the internet enough to accumulate these.
Hang out on Reddit
memes.
long enough, you'll figure it out.
I guess
It's wild. It does suck because the news does become entertaining, and you can get trapped in it too. I've gotten trapped in it too, but rather than just hearing what's going on in the world.
Yeah, and then it starts to prioritize stunt stuff.
100%. Yeah, but all platforms, all news, all content, or just more extreme. It's not even lifting. It's not fun for me to just. You don't want to watch me tell you the sad truth of, you kind of have to work hard. You have to diet. You have to do the basics. You got to do some walking. Like, that's not going to get clicks. But if I'm telling you to grow your biceps with this new crazy move and this new green tea diet pill, that's probably going to get more clicks. It's more interesting. It's what more people want to bite on.
Yeah.
And that scales to every market everywhere.
Yeah.
Just a cool, guy teaching you how to, change your battery or change your oil in your car is not going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
But if we put 1 billion horsepower into my motorcycle and ride it off a cliff, we're going to get 1 billion views.
Yeah. I mean, as much as we both love Tom Finn,
Yeah.
the stuff that he does, it's
viral.
Yeah, it's short form, intended to be viral.
Yeah.
And earlier on, probably wouldn't have been as successful as it is now.
He hit his stride pretty good. He kind of hit the probably around the similar era, 2016-17, where regular stuff just started to go downhill.
Yeah.
YouTube became kind of mainstream. Twitch is mainstream now, You get big old athletes and people talking about it and tweeting about it. It's weird. And it makes sense, right? Because even TV's dying, right? Everything's moving to streaming and Netflix and Hulu.
Yeah. I heard that this Olympics is probably one of the least watched ever.
I'm sure it tanked
in
out.
part because they put it on 6 different NBC channels.
Yeah.
And so you had some guy I was listening to the other day said that it took him half an hour to find which channel the opening ceremonies were on.
There was a lot going on.
And I honestly watched not a lot of it.
Yeah. And if you don't have TV, and I think that's the only reason to have like quote unquote regular TV is live sports.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like, you're going to have to get even more subscriptions. But even then, it's just.
But you can get that through YouTube.
And you can. You can get ESPN Plus or whatever the fuck. Yeah. You can. Yeah, it's all a mess.
So, anyway, so this is algorithm as we experience it. I don't know the last time that I felt like I really hit the algorithm hard on
TikTok. That's why
anything.
TikTok's kind of fun.
Yeah.
They hit the endorphins of both guys. They'll hit it of the creator or not because the videos are 30 seconds, and so if a bunch of people start watching 10 seconds of your thing, they're throwing it right in the fucking wake of the algorithm, and your views are popping. Your very first video ever with no followers could pop up to 1 million.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But you don't get anything out of that, really.
Yeah, I mean the same as anything else. You can market, you can monetize it. Yeah,
if you got a plan to do that.
They monetize it on the platform just like YouTube, but it's cents on the billions.
Yeah.
But even still, you have to have. But that's everywhere. You have to have a plan. And then the negative, I guess, of it is that I don't think they prioritize any followers. So if you have 1 million followers, your video has very little priority to get more views than a brand new channel, which is good and bad, right? Great if you're new, not great if you're old.
Mm-hmm.
Like it can tank. They'll probably show it to a couple more people, but it's not like Instagram where it's almost like a pure percentage. They're showing your post to a certain percent of folks reading the feedback. And it's quick feedback. They fucking read the algorithm just as fast as people's brains are working, right? You don't get any likes in 3 minutes, then your post is trash.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting, though. It's interesting because everything's moving faster. People's brains are moving faster. Their attention's moving faster. And so then the content's moving faster.
Yeah.
Except podcasts. And I think it does have to do with age. We should look it up. I think there's a study that kind of showed or tried to show, maybe we'll do a whole podcast on it one time, that tried to show that media and stuff actually wasn't causing or forcing a bunch of people to get like ADD or ADHD.
Yeah, I think that there's I think I recently saw something about that.
Because that's like the obvious excuse, right? Like everyone thinks every kid has ADHD now because they're playing video games and watching 3-minute YouTube videos where different generations grew up watching movies or reading books or whatever. But I'm pretty sure they said that it might not have much to do with it.
I don't know what it is though, because you can't. I mean, everybody's got ADD these days.
Yeah, and like
everybody who is anything from 34 down to
I do wonder
5.
Yeah, I do wonder. But then if you do the opposite, but you live in this culture, in this environment, would it really change?
I don't know.
You know, like say you're not on TikTok and you read all day and you're 12 years old, but our culture, our world is just moving. Our news is moving fast. Like everything moves fast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like can you avoid it?
I remember in the first Gulf War, when they were getting ready to go to retake Kuwait from Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
That there was, I mean, people were just glued to their TV sets, and it was kind of one of the first times, really ever, that people were glued for that long.
Yeah, because the big story was kind of unraveling in front of your eyes.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't remember a time before that it went on that long. I mean, maybe like Jake's 35. When he was like a year or two old, there was a little girl who fell down a well. She was stuck in this well.
I think I've heard of this.
And they were trying to get her out, and it was like they were on scene a lot for that, and that one was a pretty long deal.
Yeah.
But I just remember the first Gulf War, the voice saying, "This is CNN," was James Earl Jones, Darth Vader.
That's wild.
And he didn't even remember he'd recorded it. It was done years before.
Yeah, and they just kept it in.
And they just pulled it in because his voice has that gravity to it.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, big moments happening.
But yeah, that was like sort of to me, that was sort of the beginning of the 24-hour news cycle.
Yeah, now it's wild. Yeah, and then it's just only gotten faster.
Yeah.
And newspapers have only disappeared
9/11.
since.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're seeing the same footage over again, 9/11 was 20 years ago.
Yeah, in a month.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
When did the time go? It seems like yesterday in some ways.
I was in junior high.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Pure insanity.
It's wild. Now we'll close her out.
And now we'll outro.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to a brand new show every single Wednesday. I'm Silent Mike everywhere you want to find me. 3rd Street Barbell on Instagram. Good company, 3sb.co. Thank you. And I think we're still going to review a movie next.
Yeah, I think we're going to hit you again this week.
So listen up, and we'll catch you soon.
I am at the Jim McD on all of the social medias. This show is 50% facts, where percent is a word, and 50 is just numbers. And thanks for joining us, and you've been in good company. Talk to you again probably real soon.